You're a classic diesel. Pisser took off my diesel badge. I've got it in the glove box. I never put it back on. You know the worst day to make a video? Sunny day, because you end up with shadows and glare, and I buy the occasional car off Craigslist or eBay, and people take pictures of the car, and half of it's too dark and half of it's washed out with bright sun. So yeah, I'll give you a bit of that taste. Then you've got these videos where people are constantly clearing their throat. It's like I'm gonna grease the yeah. I always try to keep it clean, and unless I'm having a bad cold day, which I had a couple 3 months ago. What am I doing? Working on this Bourbon Sierra Classic GMC. It's the best. Uh-oh. Bondo. Yep, Bondo on the bottom of my fender that the wheel hit and crunched the corner. Bent my trim. I tried to put a washer on it. Nope. Whack. Bondo. I've got Bondo on my T-Ruck. Yeah, a little tiny bit of rust here and there, but I sandblasted it and sprayed some black paint on it. You can't even see it. What am I doing here? I'm changing a tie rod. I'm watching the occasional video on YouTube. I'm peeling parts off my exhaust pipes. The fluid film doesn't work in the heat. And look at that. I think I have a pinhole. I gotta find a nail and put it in there and see if it's really a hole. These are double-walled pipes that were really popular in the 70s and 80s. I just greased my drive shaft. Got a little bit of rust there. Fluid film's pretty good, but it ain't perfect, and nothing is better. Maybe Amsoil metal protector, MP. I don't know if they sell it in bulk. I busted off the lug for my strut that connects the transfer case to the motor. It's a big long assembly. Look at the tailpipes. Actually, the tailpipes are made of a different kind of aluminized material that rusts differently, and it's really hard to braze. I tried, if not impossible. That's a new tranny from, where is that from? South Carolina, not Beaufort, Georgia. Forget where it's from. Help me out with that, Nick. Anyways, I just checked my starter. It's bolted on tight. You want to bust your starter off on your 6.2, 6.5. They should have upsized the bolts. They didn't. Got a tiny reinforcing bracket. It's pretty rinky-dink. I was texting the guy with the red Suburban that I brought back from Phoenix. Busted the starter off the block and trashed the tranny, so the truck's sitting. Found another red one, but the person never texted me back. I've got a bushing problem there also. There's a big bracket in the frame. You can see it better on the inside. I've got a much bigger bracket from DYI four-wheel drive. You change that bracket and you put much bigger bolts on. This side's all right. The bolt is in the middle of the bushing, but I think this side, is it this side? The bushing is totally worn through. The bolt's gone right through the sleeve. I've got a whole new kit, but you gotta make a bigger hole in the frame. I'll get to that tomorrow. I've got to change these pipes. They're getting bad. Double walled. They lasted a long time. 34 years, but I think their days are numbered. I've got some Napa new ones, but those bolts are hard to get off. I heated them up a couple years ago. Heated them, cooled them, heated them, cooled them. They did not come loose. It's a beautiful day today. I was supposed to go get another Mercedes-Benz. Nice day to do it. It's supposed to be snowy and snowier and snowier. And there's no U-Haul trailers available. Getting back to what I'm doing, I just washed this rag. You can barely see it because the sun's making these great shadows. I bought a knee pad on Amazon, but it was a soft 2x4 knee pad, so I sent it back and I'll get a polyurethane one. I'm also crawling underneath my T-Ruck with my Harbor Freight top of the line 2-piston jack, but not a good thing to be crawling underneath the car with only a jack. What usually happens is it either slips or it tilts over because you're jacking it up on soft tarmac. It's hot outside, the tarmac's soft. You haven't got a proper base of gravel down below. Oh, that's a spring down there, that's what that is. So I'm changing the tie rod, and why am I changing it? Because the old one's worn out. Why else would I change it? Who knows how many years that lasted, but I grease this thing all the time, every couple 3,000 miles in the winter, and water comes out of it, but all of a sudden I hear the steering going rattle, rattle, like a baby's rattle. So it's loose. I can't show it to you because I don't have the phone on the tripod. Oh, there it is. It was loose. Rattle, rattle, rattle. I've got to go for my yearly safety inspection, and I've got a cracked windshield and some rust around the windshield. Not on this side. I was watching Sweet Project Cars. He was discussing how to stop GMC rust around your windshield by pouring in some mineral oil or fluid film. Mineral oil might be cheaper, I'm not sure, but I've got some rust here. When I bought this Bourbon in San Francisco in 2007, October 2007, this was a little rusty. I let it go and it got little pinholes, so Pisser tried to fix it. And he sanded a bit of the rubber, which is inevitable. But to fix that rust, you've got to take out the windshield. And I've got a key rack in my windshield. So no problem, I'll get a new windshield. They're cheap and easy to install, but I wanted to fix this rust. I'm sure it's a lot worse once you open it up. So, can't get it inspected till I change the windshield, and I'm not changing the windshield till I find a body shop. I've got the Cadillac in the shop that needs some paint work. Had one guy come by and look at it. He wants to paint the whole thing. I don't think it needs a complete paint job. I don't want to spend the money, $5,000. I'm trying to find a body guy that'll work at my shop. Got that Honda to fix. Nothing's moved here at all. Nothing. I got Ms. Hip Chick's tires. I'm just rambling on. You don't mind, do you? You know what's funny? I notice sometimes that the longer videos get way more hits than the short ones. Go figure. These tires are done. They actually may even still pass inspection. You can believe it. Yeah, there's just a little bit waves above the wear bar. They're all right until you hit a big puddle. Back ones are all right, but I was looking on Discount Tire Direct's website. They're always the cheapest. They've got rebates and free shipping. I've got a tire machine here. But you've got to put 4 of the same on an all-wheel drive vehicle. And these are Michelins. They're actually different series of Michelin tires. But Goodyear's got a special $135 a tire, I think. $160 a tire. They got 3 rebates, adds up to $160. So you add up 130, 260, 520. I think it was 150, 300, 600, just over $500 for 4 brand new Goodyear tires, all-season tires. These are so-called all-season. That ain't true. They're summer tires. So I've got to get Miss Hip Chick some tires, and I'll sell those 2 Michelins or put them on something else. Another thing about the tie rod, I'm rambling here. Maybe I'll make a different video. I'll discuss the tie rod briefly for the guys that are just interested in the Suburbans. And I've got to go get this Mercedes all-wheel drive 4MATIC, a C240. You'd think it'd be a C-Class, but it's the same as that E320 I've got in there, but it's got a smaller motor. It's not a diesel. That's an E320. The one that I put a deposit on is a C240 with a 2.6 V6, which is just, I guess, a smaller version of that. I lent this trailer to a guy, and he busted the light, and I backed a car into it, and I busted that light. Nothing gets better with age, huh? So I was wondering, can I tow a Mercedes all-wheel drive with a dolly? And if not, because you have to remove the drive shaft, how do you remove the drive shaft? Good question. I'm going to look it up on the internet, and I'll end up at Mercedes Forum. Speaking of Mercedes, I was watching Mercedes Source video, and that guy looks good for 72. My uncle just passed away a couple weeks ago. He was 93. He was in good shape. He was getting a little worn out, but that was it. He went really fast in a few hours. His hair was still 2/3 black. Unbelievable. 93 years old. Gone. I miss him. Uncle Bernard. Anyways, Kent. He's 15 years older than me. I'm 50, going to be 58. He's 72. He has a ratchet that he made. He took a direct drive ratchet, which you can pivot. Instead of it pivoting over here, instead of the knuckle being over here, the one he has the pivot over here. I've never had one of those. 1/4-inch drive with a pivot over here, so you can lift it up and run things down. And how I do that is I use these Napa 1/4-inch drive, sort of half a screwdriver, half a socket driver, but you can run your ratchet into this back part. And if I had a tripod, if I had a hammer, if I had a fiddle, I'd be a fiddler on the roof. If I had a hammer, I'd be a carpenter. So I run them down like this, but Kent's got this ratchet, 1/4-inch drive, pivots right over here, which is not uncommon. and he welds on this extra long screwdriver handle. And he didn't have a link in his video to buy one. Wouldn't mind having one of those. And then I was watching Scotty Kilmer, and he was saying, and I disagree strongly with him, he's got great videos, and they're all short, which is kind of strange because people like the long videos, but he makes his videos 3, 4, 5 minutes. He was saying to use WD-40. They got the new fancy one. It's got the plastic straw that goes in about an inch. Then they got the new one with a metal pipe, which is probably made in China, because where else can you make fancy things for pennies or peanuts? And he was saying to use WD-40 to get your lug nuts off. WD-40 on the hub before you reinstall it, so your hub doesn't seize on to your wheel, and WD-40 in your door locks and your Nixon locks, and I disagree. He's a great guy, makes great videos, he's really popular. He's got some gardening to do. I noticed he's got some bags of mulch in the background. And just like me, he's a pack rat with tons of junk just piled up. Anyways, I use silicone spray, and I bought this 3-in-1 silicone spray for bargain price at Lowe's. They had a shopping cart full of it, and they were marking it down for clearance. 75% off or more. And I said to the woman, I'll take it. She says, how many cans? I said, yes. Huh? I took the whole shopping cart full of silicone spray and some lubricant stuff, and it had mostly silicone spray. So I bought 5 or 6 cases of it several years ago for, I think, 75 cents a can. And the advantage of silicone spray is it doesn't smell so bad. WD-40 really stinks. I suppose it makes good underarm deodorant for a mechanic. Somebody posted that comment. I liked it. But this stuff doesn't smell so bad. It doesn't stain so bad. It stains very, very little compared to WD-40, which is really a petroleum product with some acids in it to creep into the tiny spots. There's people that swear PB Blaster. You can restore your car with PB Blaster and duct tape. Just spray it on, the bolts come loose that have been rusted on for 30 years. Give me a freaking break. You know what gets off a bolt that's really rusted on? BFH. Actually, what gets the bolt off is an oxyacetylene torch, which not a lot of people have. They're not very expensive. You can buy an oxyacetylene torch. Where have I got one here? Let me go wander around my shop. I'll lift up the camera so you can see what's going on here. I got the Hyundai I've had for years. I bought this for 250 bucks in Phoenix 10 years ago. The guy says, what's the scam? I've got your 250 bucks. The car's junk. Why are you buying it? What are you doing? He totally didn't get it. I said, buddy, I've got a Hyundai. The brake line rotted. There's no floor to attach the brake line to when I patched it. The car was junk. It ran great. These Hyundais run fine. They're really Mitsubishis, built under license, or Mitsubishi sold everything to Hyundai in Korea, kind of like what Packard did in Russia. They made Packards in Russia up until the 60s and 70s, a 56 Packard. Anyway, so I found this guy on the internet on the K5 forum. He put on a water pump, timing belt. He put those nuts on upside down so the lock washers, where it bit in, was marked up here. Timing belt, water pump, and a new belt. The air conditioning compressor's junk. It's really hard to get to, buried there. And he shipped it back, so I paid $250. I gave him $300 to fix this. I brought it back, put a windshield in it, and a muffler, and tires, and I drove this thing 15,000 miles over a few years, 15, 20,000 miles, and she still runs just fine. I was backing it up one day, and I had the door open, and I bumped into a car with the door, and I swung the door open. And that really bugged me because this door used to close perfectly. Look at that. I sprung the hinge a tiny bit. There's nothing. It's better now. That really bugged me. I had the door open while I was backing up, and I didn't notice. I had a car parked over there, and I backed into it and just tweaked the door tiller. Let's see if this baby fires up. It's been sitting for a while. Crank that baby up! Isn't that sweet? And it's got a 5-speed. It's a cheapy model. It's got air conditioning and nothing else. Back in the day, these things didn't have a... Oh, I got a hitch coupler. They didn't have power windows, just had air conditioning. Anyways, it's got a 5-speed shift knob, but it never went into 5th gear. One day, a guy drives the car, some guy working for me, and he jabs it into 5th gear. I said, what are you doing? He says, I'm putting it into 5th gear. And I said, look at that. It's got 5 gears. I've been driving it in 4th forever. He put it in 5th gear, and everything was fine. Just a little bit of sludge on one of the rails. The guy probably drove it in town. Listen to that, baby. 160,000 miles. Always starts, no matter what the weather. It's been a great car. I put a couple tires on it that I found in the garbage. Somebody was throwing them away and they were in the trash. Got 160 now. I think I had 140 when I bought it, 140, 130. I put 50 and 20,000 on it. I got the Corvairs. Oh yeah, the torches, sorry. We're jumping around here. I bought a Strut compressor from Amazon, made in, guess where, Xinjiang, China. And it came in a big heavy crate, wooden crate. So I assembled it. I had to follow the instructions because I couldn't figure it out. I thought that the assembly would have gone this way because of where the jack was, but no, it goes this way. And you should bolt it to the floor, and you bolt your coil spring here and put your strut in there, and you clamp that down, and you can install new struts by compressing your coil spring. But my buddy Nick is gonna mail me one. He's a good guy, Nick. He's got a junkyard just around the block, and he goes to the pick apart and gets me all kinds of good junk. So, oxyacetylene torches, you heat it up red hot, then you spray it with the water bottle real fast. And you can get a set of these. They sell them at Lowe's. I think it's 250 bucks. Comes with some crappy imitation Victor. This is a Purox made in USA, rebuilt. One of the O-rings popped off of it, so I had to put a new O-ring on it. Rubber's just not what it used to be. Anyways, you can buy a set like that, and you fill the bottles, are 30 bucks each to fill. I've got a few sets and a few fire extinguishers and some oil and some bulbs and some jacks and some compressors and some safety stands and some diesel Suburbans and some old school gauges and some crappy lamps. Turbocharged Corvairs. This thing runs, took it for a drive in the fall when I moved it out of you-know-whose place. So I've got to change that exhaust pipe. I think I've got them right here, actually. I got these from Sharpshooter in Boston. No, actually I got these from Mr. Napa Corvair in Connecticut. So I got all the pipes I need. And they're, what kind are they? Napa, Walker, who knows? But who knows if they'll last as long as the originals. The originals, the tailpipes are a different kind of a light aluminum that I tried to braze when the clamp rusted through the pipe. And let me tell you, wouldn't braze. It's got way too much aluminum, and the front pipes are double walled. You saw that, they're falling apart. But got my money's worth out of them. I ordered some new fender extensions. And Miss Hip Chick is calling me, so I got to end this video and get this place organized. You want that, welder? My friend in Asheville, North Carolina, not South Carolina. Oh man, I gotta fix this place up. The roof was leaking the other day. Drip, 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 drip. All right, I'm gonna put this thing back together. I was gonna rent that trailer from U-Haul and clear my throat and make you look at the bright sunshine, because it's supposed to be nasty, nasty, nasty. March is a crazy month. You think it's spring. February was spring, but it ain't. I'm gonna have to get that Mercedes next week. And I'll take you on a tour of more things. I got the Mercedes wagon sitting in the back of my dump trailer, and that building needs to be lifted up. I saw a video on YouTube where guys are lifting up garages and houses. This thing needs to be lifted up a couple of courses a block. It sits below the grade, and the water just runs through there like a river. All right, I got a lot of junk here. I got a big lot. All kinds of things on my mind, and I gotta work in that apartment. Get that baby done. Suburban Sierra Classic GMC Chevrolet. Crank that baby up.